Welcome everybody to yet another Coffee Time with Hako, the show where I have my morning coffee and I up off into the void. Well met, hope you're all doing amazing today. We're having a latte and the sun is kinda shining. So, what are we gonna be discussing today? We're gonna be discussing Vivian. In my last coffee time I played Vivian for 24 hours, now I've done it for, what is it? 72? Roughly, and I mean that. I was up until 6 in the morning today, making my Vivian guide, and the end day still isn't lifted, so I can't show you anything spicy yet, but hold on just a few days. But on the last one, I got a few questions, and I've also come to some more realization and testing when trying her out, so I thought I would share them. Now, there were a lot of people asking on previous video, does she work outside of anomaly teams? And quite frankly, no. Outside of anomaly teams, Vivian doesn't do much at all, and she's not the main carry. The thing is with Vivian is that she's a sub-DPS that kind of scales with her on-field anomaly character. So the stronger your Jane, Yanagi or Miyabi is, for example, the stronger your Vivian will be. This also goes in reverse. The weaker your anomaly main carry is, the weaker your Vivian will be. Now, all my testing, all my thoughts are on the creator build server, so changes might happen before it actually reaches live, just be aware. But I've also tried pairing Vivian together with Piper and Grace, and they do get the job done, they get through the assaults, although it isn't by, a large margin. Yanagi and Vivian M0, I was able to get 52,000 on the Corruption Complex. Meanwhile, with Grace, I think I clocked in at 25. So she's not an immediate sub-DPS that will, make a bad character extremely good, but she's a valuable teammate for them. Rather, she makes already, kind of crack characters even better. And her absolute strongest team that I found so far is Yanagi, Vivian, and Astra. Astra is her best support, surprise, surprise, she's everybody's best support. But the fact that she gives Vivian easy access to quick assists really helps out with Vivian's resource management. And as for paired up with Miyabi, one of Miyabi's stronger teams is Nicole and Astra, and if I take out Nicole and put in Vivian, I get a few more thousands on the Deadly Assault. So for example, it becomes 48,000 instead of 44. But if I instead take out Astra and I put in Vivian, so it's Miyabi, Nicole and Vivian, the score is a few thousand lower. Now, I was expecting Nicole and Vivian to kind of be, a power duo, just like Nicole and Astra are, but for some reason, I guess it's Nicole watering out the corruption or whatever it is, it's not performing super well. Now, mind you, it is still viable, although Nicole and Astra is, a better duo. And when testing this out, I made sure that, Nicole has as much anomaly proficiency as possible as to not water down the corruption too much. And I've also received some question, does she work with Bernice? Yes and no. Not really, not to great extent. I've tried some triple anomaly teams with Jane, Bernice and Vivian, and that works. I did up on pay, I think I got 33,000 points. But if I took out either Bernice or Vivian and put in, a support, an Astra for example, the score was much higher than that. So it does work, it is quite fun, it puts very heavy strain on you managing your resources with Vivian, which honestly is fun, and the first day I tried it, I could not keep up with Vivian, but now I feel like I'm mastered enough to be able to have it fully stacked, even in a triple anomaly team. And at M0 with her W engine, she performs, slightly better than Bernice, so she's the Bernice substitute. Any team you might, consider switching in Bernice for, you can put Vivian in and the results will be slightly better with Vivian. And this is with the entire roster at M0. If you have an M1 or M2 anomaly carry like M2 Jane, M2 Yanagi, for example, Vivian will start pulling ahead. Because as I said earlier, she scales off the strength of your on-field anomaly carry. And Bernice doesn't really do that in the same way. And I've done some calculations and some testing, and Vivian's M1 and M2 I'd say are a bit stronger than Bernice's M1 and M2. So base kit, they are kind of similar with an edge to Vivian, but the more investment you put into Vivian, the more she will start pulling ahead. I've also paired up with Jane and got really good scores, even though I have access to 9 Deadly Assault bosses, and yeah, not a single one of them is actually weak to physical. So, but even that, even against electric weak bosses, I managed to get an M0 Jane team to, around 45 to 47,000. But Yanagi clocks in at, 52 on the same boss. And if I had some money to bet, I would bet that, we are gonna start getting, as soon as they give us another new physical agent, they have to start giving us, physical weak endgame, and then Jane will shine even more. And I did mention her engine earlier, and now I honestly don't know if I'm allowed to specifically say exactly what the engine does. So let's be on the safe side, and I'll just give you some comparison numbers instead. Her signature engine is good. It is very good. But for all intents and purposes, she is your normal anomaly character. So what does she want? Anomaly proficiency and anomaly mastery and attack. and her signature engine gives just that, with a big emphasis on the anomaly proficiency. But according to my extensive testing, Electro Lip Gloss is very, very viable. It clocks in at 17% like worse than her signature one, which honestly is not, a massive drop-off, and this is comparing it to a fully refined one, so W5. At 18.2% worse, we have Weeping Gemini, which is a very, very free-to-play friendly option. We can buy it in the gadget store, and it honestly does amazing on her. Her third best one, clocking in at 20% worse, is Time Weaver, which is Yanagi's signature one, and seeing as it is worse than Weeping Gemini, there is no reason why we would take Yanagi's and use that. Just use Weeping Gemini or Electro Lip Gloss. To summarize it all, Vivian is a sub-carry that you pair together with another anomaly agent. The stronger that anomaly agent is, the stronger your Vivian will be. She kinda acts as a catalyst to your on-field anomaly. She offers very little to nothing outside of anomaly teams, and as of right now, the teams that, really gets a big boost with her is Jane, Yanagi, and Miyabi. But Miyabi already has access to very similarly performing teams. Her big competition is Bernice, and I would say that she is stronger than Bernice. And obviously she covers a different element, which is important for anomaly teams. And what is especially nice with pairing her up with Yanagi is that a lot of enemies that are weak to electric, they're also weak to ether. So what's my pulling advice on her? Well, she's quite fun. She's one of the anomaly units I've had the most fun with, and paired up with the right characters, she does feel super powerful. She is a lot more on-field than Bernice is. You need to switch into her quite a lot, and Astra really helps out with managing her stacks. She has kind of a unique playstyle. She has two states that you kind of need to dance around and make decisions on the fly which stance you wanna enter into. Because some abilities like her EX special allows you to choose which stance you end up in afterwards. So the skill ceiling for Vivian is quite high. And she has a lot of animation that plays out even if you switch out character, and some moves that even incentivizes you to switch out so she performs them. At her current level at M0 paired up with other M0 agents, I don't feel she is busted, or she is as busted as you would consider Bernice. Slightly more. But she isn't insanely much stronger than Bernice. I'd probably say, it's about 10 to 15%. All endgame content in the game, incentivizes having several teams. So, in Deadly Assault, just because you have Bernice doesn't mean that, you will get no use of Vivian. And same if you pull Vivian, it's not like your Bernice is gonna, lose a part in some team. Vivian's value definitely rises the more goated characters you already have. And if you're planning to go for M1 and M2. And she is a sub-DPS that scales with her main DPS in a way we haven't really seen before. So if your account is loaded with, M2 Yanagi, M2 Miyabi, M1 Jane, you're gonna get more value out of Vivian than if you sat there with M0 characters. The better your main character already is, the better this sub-DPS becomes. But you don't slot her in with Grace and suddenly Grace becomes absolutely insane. The weaker the carry, the weaker the Vivian. At the moment, I feel she's strong. I don't want her to be much stronger than she is now. And I think that's a good thing. I think most people, we want that for the game. And as we get more on-field anomaly carries like Jane, Miyabi, Yanagi, I think Vivian's value, will potentially just rise. Now you might be asking, Hako, are you gonna pick up Vivian once she actually releases live? Yes, I'm gonna be picking up one Vivian because I do find that she's a fun addition to my anomaly teams. So yeah, everybody, thought I'd pop in and let you all know. And I do have a lot of Vivian stuff, cooking. I have a full combat showcase of her, ready to go as soon as I get the thumbs up that it's okay to release it. And remember everybody, even if you're skipping, both Vivian and Hugo 1.7 is a big reason to be excited. It is the patch before the anniversary, and I've actually had, a look at all of the stuff that we're getting, and boy, I think potentially it's gonna be the most generous patch yet, and there's some events that, just gives a ludicrous amount of master tapes, polychromes, and boopons. So yeah, 1.7 soon upon us. Looking forward to that, and expect the full extensive Vivian guide in just a few days. Everybody, until then, hope your coffee is blessed, and I appreciate you. Big hug, and until next time, Hako out.
In a city where neon shines, she's active, flicks and a short teeth bright. Titties bounce and she's so tight, they own the game, they like the night. Titties cheeks, they steal the show, and spin shot, chase, tail and toe. From Zenless on zero, they break free. Titties cheeks, ruin hypocity. Cheeks and titties, both in sync. James rap test ways made to think. Across the streets,